Hello, my name is Joel Windsor, manager of MusicFestivalSuite.com. Windsor Graphics is pleased to offer Music Festival Suite to festivals across Canada. You are watching this video because you are a volunteer or employee of a festival that subscribes to Music Festival Suite.
This video will walk you through the process of exporting your schedule once it's complete and formatting it for printing.
Please note that while this video walkthrough is meant to help you, it is not an exhaustive look at all of the details of the system. For more refined details, read the printable MusicFestivalSuite.com administration manual available on the Subscribing Festivals pages at MusicFestivalSuite.com.
Although many festivals use the export schedule or print schedule feature once the entire schedule is complete, you can use these features at any point during your schedule process as long as there is at least one class scheduled. When you export, you will see that every export has the venue, the date, the start time for each class or the block each class is assigned to, the class number and the class description inside the export. But you do have control over many other things, including the registrant's name, how that class description appears in relation to the class number, the titles and the pieces, the teachers' names or the accompanist's names, and of course the length or start times of those pieces. When you hit the export button, Music Festival Suite will compile all of the scheduled data, which may take a moment, so just be patient. Once it's done, it will have it available for you as a Cadet separated value file, which is appearing as a TXT file format. What that means is that all of the information is going to be separated by a Cadet, which is the symbol above the 6 on most computers. Once that link is made available to you, download that file directly onto your computer so that you can manipulate the data. You can manipulate the data using any word processor, including Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or Corel WordPerfect. This demonstration will show you how to import your TXT file that you just downloaded into Microsoft Word. So if you're using a different word processor, keep in mind that many of the settings are still available in each one of these processors. As you can see, the data has been exported in a plain text format, including many of those cadets. This does not look very eye-appealing, so we're going to show you how to change that. The first thing you may want to do is get rid of that top line, as it is only a header for the file. And the rest of it, we can highlight the whole works and change it to the font that you actually want things to appear in. Music Festival Suite recommends the use of styles. The styles allow you to edit your document far more efficiently. For example, we want all of this text to look fairly the same, so we're going to say that the normal setting or the normal style is what we want to make it. But the normal that appears right now is not the way we want it to be. So we're going to adjust this normal style by changing the layout in terms of how much spacing there is in between, what the font choice is, and so on and so forth. Once we've chosen all that, we can set that normal style to look the way we've changed it to. In Microsoft Word, that means right-clicking on normal and choosing Update Normal to match selections so that what you've already got selected will become what normal looks like. Now we need to get rid of all of those ugly cadets, and the way we do that is by you taking advantage of the tabs feature in your word processor. Now, in Microsoft Word, there's no easy way to do this except for by way of the replace function. So here's how you do it. Step number 1, type the tab button on your computer. Then highlight that tab and copy it using Control-C or what have you. Once you've copied it, you can now use that replace feature and say that you want to replace every cadet with that tab. You can't simply hit the tab button inside this replace window, which is why we had to copy it from the document itself. Once we hit the replace button, you'll see that all of those cadets have now been replaced with tabs. But those tabs mean a lot of space is taken up. So we want to change how much space those tabs take. And the way we do that is by using the left indent tools of your word processor. And they're in different locations on every word processor, so make sure you know where yours are. In Microsoft Word, it's always appearing in the top left. The reason why those spaces exist as big as they do is because your word processor is trying to assume what length you want those tabs to be, unless you tell it. So you need to enable the ruler function of your word processor, and then on that ruler, add your left tabs to wherever you want them to be, which you can click or you can drag into position. And once you put all those tabs in the spacing that you want, you'll see that everything looks a lot closer to what you want it to look like. Let's do a quick return to setting up your styles, because it's quite possible you don't want the whole document to be exactly the same thing. You may want to use some titles for your venues and some headers for your dates. So in this particular example, we're going to set it up so that all of our dates use the setting or the style heading 1. But we don't want heading 1 to look the way that Microsoft Word is predicting for us. So we change our font, we change our boldface, and now we can, again, right-click on heading 1 and say that we're going to update heading 1 to match this particular selection we've got highlighted. And what that does is it automatically changes every other date, which we've already told Microsoft Word is a heading 1, to be the exact same way. Now, in the export that was provided by MusicFestivalSuite, many of the terms aren't exactly the way you may want them to look. For example, Saturdays do not appear as the word Saturday, they appear abbreviated as SAT. So if you want it to appear with the full word, you need to use the replace function to change Sat into Saturday. Same thing for Feb into February. And finally, you can also do the exact same thing for all of the times that you may see. For example, 2 o'clock p.m. appears as 0200 p.m. You can replace the 02 with just plain old 2 and do that for all of your single-digit hours. You'll notice that as we do this in our demonstration, we oftentimes include punctuation to ensure that we do not grab the wrong thing. For example, if a person has entered a selection called "My dog sat on the couch" and you try to change every sat to that, then suddenly your P selection will be "My dog Saturday on the couch." You want to be careful of that, so we include a punctuation mark to make sure it only grabs what we really want it to grab. Another good example of this is when you want to get rid of any entries where there was no arranger. So we would include the places where you see a comma, space, ARR, colon, none, or not applicable, and simply replace them with no information whatsoever. So it'll actually remove all of those unknown arrangers. We do the same thing for the opuses as well, to try and get this information dealt with and cleaned up much more quickly and efficiently. You may also choose to change it to say arranged by instead of that abbreviated version of arranged. Much of the rest of the formatting is one line at a time. For example, if you have one piece of information that has a little bit more than can fit on a single line, you may want to take advantage of the hanging indent feature of your word processor, which is usually that triangle on the very left-hand side of the ruler that you can drag the bottom half to make sure that it goes where you want it to go. In classes where there are multiple participants, you may find that there's a long list of people that you want to simply have separated by commas rather than separated by lines. So you may need to take a couple of moments to make those look the way you want them to look, including with the hanging indent. You can also set it so that for a little while you can go one place at a time. For example, through the musical theater section, you might not want it to say opus. What you might want it to say is from whatever the show is that they entered. So you can go one at a time instead of using the replace all feature. Use simply the replace button to double check to make sure that you are replacing only what you want to replace. There are many ways you can use each of these tools in your word processor to make it look the way you want, including getting rid of extra indents, replacing classes where announced pieces at performance time are there and you don't want that information listed, and many more. You will also need to be aware that on occasion, MusicFestivalSuite will export information in a way that you don't necessarily expect, particularly for more complicated classes such as classes where there are multiple performers and multiple pieces. MusicFestivalSuite can export many things quite seamlessly, however, there will be some things you need to catch. So watch out for those particular types of entries and make sure that they look exactly the way you want them to before you print it. One such instance is when the registrant has entered the composer as the same as the arranger, and you don't necessarily want those repetitions to occur in your program, so you may need to go through the entire program and find any such occurrences and remove those repetitions. You may also want to adjust your program's margins, maybe even the paper size. You may also want to include images, logos of your festival, or images of your adjudicators. You may also want to put such things in the header of the file by way of the insert header function, which would put that information on every single page inside your program. You may also want to add page breaks at strategic locations, such as at new dates for the venue or even new venues. You may also want to even include cover pages, and many word processors offer you templated cover pages where all you need to do is replace the text they provide you and the images they provide you with ones that are relevant for your particular festival. Once you're completed and happy with your finished product, you can save your file, and if you wish to, you can export it as a PDF. Many festivals choose to do this so that they can send their PDF file to a local print shop that has also sponsored their festival, so that they can print it very quickly and easily.
If you need to see more details of your subscription with MusicFestivalSuite.com, refer to the MFS Admin Manual available on the Subscribing Festivals page of www.MusicFestivalSuite.com. If you need an answer not provided in the manual, please feel free to send your questions to support@MusicFestivalSuite.com. Thank you for viewing this administrative tutorial.